Hello everyone, Jeff here with you for episode number 14 of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz here on YouTube. It is a GMTE Express add-on. Let's get right into the action here. We'll start with AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite first. It took place from the Wasco Center at the University of Miami in Florida. This is part one of their Bash at the Beach specials that they're doing. Part two will actually be next week on the Jericho Cruise, so that'll be kind of interesting. Opening match here for the night is a four-way tag match to determine the number one contenders for the tag title match next week on the Cruise against SCU. We have Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. We have the Best Friends. We have the Young Bucks, and we have Santana and Ortiz all in action here. Good match, good stuff here. All the teams pretty much hit all their big spots here. We get to the finish here. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega actually get the win here. They beat the Best Friends, of course. That's the only reason why they're in the match. They won after hitting Chucky T with the combined V-Trigger and Buckshot Lariats. So they will get the tag title match next week on the Cruise. Also during the match, we saw all four Elite members kind of show some tension towards the end there, but they kind of brushed it off, and they all got back on the same page at the end and raised each other's arms and left. So they could be playing up some tension there, so we'll see what happens there. Cody was out for his big promo here next. He discusses the stipulations that were put out by MJF 2 weeks ago and whether or not he would accept the conditions to get the match against them. He runs down the list, dissecting each one in the process. He suggested that MJF was stalling, calling him an old school heel, and then, of course, he accepted every one of the stipulations. And he wraps up the promo by saying that he'll get his hands on him and he'll give him his own scar on the February 29th pay-per-view, so we have that. Backstage promo from Joey Janela next, saying that 2019 had felt like getting, quote, punched in the balls all year, just like his ex Penelope Ford and her new man Kip Sabian had done to him last week. And he's going to show his true skills on next week's show on the Cruise, but I think it might be taped in the studio, we'll see, or where they were, we'll see, when he goes one-on-one with Rey Fenix, so we have that coming up. Women's tag team match is up next. We have Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander taking on Mel and what was supposed to be Awesome Kong, but Awesome Kong was not there. I guess she was under the weather, so Brandy Rhodes was a last-minute substitute here. This was not a good match. This was, again, probably easily the weakest match on the entire show. Very slow, kind of choppy, sloppy. It was not there. It just felt awkward, just like they weren't clicking. So ultimately the baby faces get the win. Statlander won for her team when she hit Mel with her version of the modified power driver for the win. Looked like she spiked her pretty good as well. So the baby faces get the win, and it just makes this Nightmare Collection, which by the way this match in itself was a nightmare to watch. It just makes them look not so strong, makes them look weak here, losing already this early, but we'll see what happens. And again, this women's division, it's just something's not clicking there. They have the talent, like they just got to execute. So obviously we got to see what happens. So we have that. We had a Dark Order video that aired next, discussing the progress they've made in their targeted recruits, including Nakazawa, Kenny Omega, Brandon Cutler, and Hangman Page. So that's what we had there. Next up, we had Jon Moxley taking on Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle here. Great match. Gave it plenty of time. Surprisingly, Sammy Guevara got a lot of offense in on Moxley. Probably a little more than he should have, but you got to keep him strong. But, it was good stuff here. The match ended when Guevara was going for the moonsault, and he got caught by Moxley, and he locked in a rear naked choke for the submission win here. So Moxley gets the win. Afterwards, as Moxley was celebrating in the ring, Jericho's music hits. They kill all the lights. They do the deal when the lights come back on, when everyone from the Inner Circle's in the ring. They do a beatdown on Moxley. Jericho whips him with his championship belt, and actually, we also see Hager hit a running kick into the midsection, so bargain basement alley shot there from Hager. And then the big spot that everyone remembers from here is when Jericho unscrewed one of the spikes from his jacket and actually drove it into Moxley's eye. Kind of gruesome stuff there. I'm surprised they actually did that, but they wanted to prove a point. And not surprisingly, you figured Jericho had to get some of his heat back from last week when he got smashed over the head with the bottle of his own bubbly. So Afterwards, when he came back from commercial, Jericho cut a promo backstage saying that Moxley brought the attack on himself and it was an eye for an eye. Ooh, get it? See? A little pun there. After Moxley smashed the bottle over his head last week. And of course, one of the funny things was Hager going, "Arr." So, that cracked me up seeing that. Six-man tag was next. We had MJF, The Butcher and the Blade taking on QT Marshall, Diamond Dallas Page, and Dustin Rhodes. I thought the match, it was there. It was really nothing special. I mean, obviously, people pop when Diamond Dallas Page hit some of his moves. He hit a diamond cutter on MJF at one point, tried to go for the win, but it got broken up. And of course, another thing was DDP coming off the top rope with an outside splash on everyone on the floor. I would never have guessed in 2020 we would see Diamond Dallas Page do a spot off the top rope. Other than that, after Page had hit that dive, Marshall had hit the QT special to the outside, but then was caught from behind by MJF, who had recovered from the diamond cutter and actually rolled up QT Marshall to get the win for his team. So the heels get the win as they should have, and MJF was the right guy to win here. And QT Marshall, you figured would be the one pin. That's pretty much the reason why he was in the match, was to take the pinfall. You weren't going to pin Dustin Rhodes or Diamond Dallas Page, so we had that. Your main event for the night, we had Pac taking on Darby Allin. The winner of this match is supposed to face Moxley next week to determine the number one contender for the world title there. Both guys really went into it doing some good stuff here. It comes down to the end here. We see Pac was able ultimately to hit the Black Arrow on Darby Allin and actually get the win. Good match. It was fine. Afterward, Pac cuts a promo in the ring with Tony Schiavone. He makes it clear that now, because of what happened to Moxley earlier on, he should be the number one contender by forfeit. Moxley, we see in the back, kicks his way out of an ambulance because they had done an ambulance job. They had put him in there. He kicks out. He works his way back into the arena, saying that he's going to kick Pac's ass next week, and it's not going to go down like that because Moxley wants to get the win. So that's what happened there. So that was AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite, the Bash at the Beach Part 1 special. It took place from the University of Miami at the Wasco Center in Miami, Florida. Let's get on to WWE NXT. Of course, it took place from Full Sail University down in Winter Park, Florida. Keith Lee was out to start the show here with a promo. He basically tells everyone that that the Undisputed Era had reached their peak, and that he was coming to take away the momentum by defeating Roderick Strong for the NXT North American title at Worlds Collide. Undisputed Era eventually does come out. They do a 4-on-1 beatdown on Keith Lee, and then ultimately they do that until Tommaso Ciampa comes out to make the save to send them packing. So we had that. And they did a deal where they had did the deal with Keith Lee where they put his leg into the chair and did a number, kind of like what you remember what was done to Brian Pillman with that chair spot, kind of something like that. So we had that. We had another match in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic here. We had Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, the Broserweights, taking on Mark Anders and Flash Morgan Webster from NXT UK. Very good match here. Outstanding here. Just getting towards the end here. We see an electric chair Poison Rana by the tag team champions. Nearly got the win on Riddle, but he kicked out late. Riddle was able to recover then. Andrews then countered late with an X-Plex into a cutter on Pete Dunne, and then Webster tried to take out Riddle with a tope suicide. Riddle caught him for the Bro Derek on the outside. And then Dunn got up in time to hit the block a shooting star press with a punch, and then ended things with a combination bitter and Bro to sleep for the 1-2-3. So not surprisingly, the Broserweights get the win here. Good showing here by Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster here, but the right team won. And a very good match, I thought. Tommaso Ciampa was out for a promo next. He calls out the Undisputed Era for trying to hurt Keith Lee in the opening segment. He promises he'll hurt Adam Cole and get his Goldie back, of course referring to the title. Undisputed Era run out again. They do another beatdown, so for the second time in 3 segments, we see the Undisputed Era come out for a 4-1 attack. Johnny Gargano comes out to make the save here and runs them off, and they eventually, both Ciampa and Gargano stand tall in the end. So we'll see where that goes from there. Next up, another match, in the final match in the first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics, we had the Grizzled Young Veterans taking on the Time Splitters here. Of course, the Time Splitters is the formation of the tag team, with Alex Shelley making his first in-ring action for NXT here, along with Kushida. It was a good match. Good stuff here. Towards the end here, they had hit a combination splash and shooting star press, but Kushida was pushed off the top rope late, leaving Shelley prone for the ticket to Mayhem, and then that was actually enough. The Grizzled Young Veterans, and somewhat of a surprise, I think, got the win here. A lot of people were expecting the Time Splitters to win, but you got to give the NXT UK a bone here, so that's what they did. The Splitters offered a handshake afterwards, but the Grizzled Young Veterans stiffed them, and then they cut a heel promo against Shelley in the crowd. So that's what we had there. Next up, we had triple threat action to find out who would be the number one contender for the NXT Cruiserweight title. We had Leo Rush, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and Tyler Breeze all in action here. Great stuff here from every guy in the match. Every guy got a chance to shine here. Let's just go over real quick what had happened. We had a poison runner by Rush on the Scott, followed by a tope suicide on Breeze outside that left Swerve Scott prone for the final hour, but Breeze broke it up late. And Breeze's supermodel kick appeared to take out Isaac Swerve Scott, but then Rush looked to have the win put away, following a spinning kick in the final hour on Breeze, but Scott tried to throw Rush out of the ring. Instead, Rush bounced off the bottom rope and hit this outstanding-looking cutter off the rope. Beautifully done. Scott was able to rebound to drill Breeze in the back of the head with a kick, and then followed with his JMF driver for the win, and actually got the win here. So very good stuff here. We have Leo Rush get the win, as he should have. All right, no, it was Scott. Yeah, no, Scott got the win here. He got the win with the JMF driver, so Scott gets the win here, and he pinned Tyler Breeze. So, good stuff overall here. Very good match. I thought this was the best match on the show. Your main event for the night was the Battle Royal for the woman to determine who would be the number one contender in line for a shot at Rhea Ripley's NXT Women's title. We see Casey Kazarian make her NXT return. We see Mercedes Martinez, who just signed. She's here for the match. And then the last entrant in the match was Shayna Baszler, which I guess caught some people by surprise. This didn't really surprise me. I figured she'd be in the match. It was unannounced. So I guess one of the biggest surprises was an early elimination of Candice LeRae by Bianca Belair. Mercedes Martinez eliminated Mia Yim and nearly got Shayna Baszler out, but ultimately Mercedes Martinez got pulled out of the ring by Shayna Baszler. So we get down to the end here. We're down to Tegan Nox, Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair, and they had forgotten because Shotzi Blackheart, who was making her official debut here. She was eliminated through the ropes, went out over the top, and people had forgotten about her. So she came back in legally, and actually took out Shayna Baszler. So Shayna Baszler was eliminated. So we're down to the final four. We see Dakota Kai actually come out from the back and attack and eliminate Tegan Nox. So Tegan Nox is out. So we're down to the final three. Ultimately, Shotzi Blackheart gets eliminated, so we're down to Io Shirai and Bianca Belair. These two went at it for quite a few minutes here. Ultimately, Bianca Belair was able to eliminate her with the KOD, and a good-looking one, just launched over the top rope. And Bianca Belair is the number one contender. I think this surprised a lot of people, but I'm actually not surprised if you really think about it. I think they're going to tell the story heading into this NXT TakeOver event in Portland next month. You know how WWE loves to make and tout that they make history and all that. I think they're going to do it with Bianca Belair. I am picking her to actually, I think there's a better than 50% chance, and I think she is going to beat the NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley here at this TakeOver show. I think they're going to tell an interesting story, and I think you all can kind of figure out where I'm getting at with that. So Bianca Belair will get that shot at Rhea Ripley at the NXT TakeOver show. So that was NXT that took place from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. Let's go over the ratings real quick, then I'll give you my pick of the week. This week, the Part 1 of the Bash at the Beach edition of Dynamite on TNT, according to Showbuzz Daily, did 940,000 viewers. It beat NXT in the Rings, which did 700,000 viewers. They beat them by 34%. AEW ranked 5th in the cable top 150 and 18-49, while NXT ranked 31st. AEW ranked 29th in total viewership, while NXT was 39th. Both shows were down slightly from last week's numbers that they had done. Last week, Dynamite did 947,000 viewers, so they were down about 1%, while NXT was down about 3% when they did 721,000 viewers. AEW won in the key demo. They did a 0.38 in the 18-49 demo, while NXT did a 0.21. Both shows were up they were up 0.02 of a point, because AEW did 0.36 last week and NXT did a 0.19. So both shows were up 0.02 of a point. So through 15 winning weekly head-to-heads, and I don't count the December 25th show because NXT ran unopposed that night, if you remember. With AEW winning again, they have now won 11 weeks, NXT has won 3 weeks, and we had the one tie. Now, for my pick of the week, I'm going to go with NXT again. I thought NXT, once again, was the better show. AEW, I thought, for the most part, was good. Was not, like I said, was not a fan of the women's match. I thought the 6-man tag was just kind of there. Other than that, it was pretty good stuff overall besides that. But I thought NXT, again, from start to finish, again, they didn't really have any bad matches again. And I just wasn't not a big fan of the rinse and repeat promos that they did early in the show. But other than that, I thought the matches themselves were fine. So that, to me, is good enough for me to have NXT be my pick of the week. So through 14 weeks of head-to-heads, and I don't count the New Year's Day show because NXT was not live that night, NXT I have picked 9 times. I have 9 selections for them, and I have AEW with 5 selections. Let me know down in the comments section below what your favorite moment from Wednesday's action is. And before we go, I want to mention again, I mentioned it on my podcast as well. Congratulations in order to AEW. They're going to be on with TNT at least through 2023 now. They agreed to that extension this week, so congratulations to Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, and everyone involved there with AEW. And we now know there's going to be a second weekly AEW show. It's going to air on TNT. It's probably going to be AEW Dark. It's from the looks of it, so more details to come on that, so congratulations to them. We'll see you the next time on the next Wednesday Night Wrestling Blitz here on YouTube. Bye for now, everyone.